Hey, how are you doing today? I love it. You always bring energy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, David, I want to start out with tell me your story. You are the regional partner for Master Networks in Central Texas, but I know you didn't start there. How did you get there? Tell us your story.
I am a serial entrepreneur. I think I've lived a couple of lives in business thus far, and I keep reinventing myself. In doing that, it feels good. It's rewarding to be able to do that. I've been in a company I built from the ground up with $300. You know, I have I flipped homes before, and so multi-level marketing ventures. I'm in the top 3% of one of those. And so, in that experience, I've been able to see some sort of success, and I made a lot of mistakes. But what I like is being involved in master networks because people come in at all different levels. And so you have the people that come in and they're brand new and they don't know what to do. They're just starting a business and they're looking for the wisdom in the room. And I like to be that person. And if I'm not that person, I know somebody that is that person that I can connect you with. So that brought me to Master Networks. I love making a difference. I love when people achieve the next level of success, and I can say, hey, look, and I was a part of that. I was a part of that solution there, and seeing it. I mean, just seeing people flourish in business, no matter what level they're at. They might be in business, have been in business for 20 and 30 years, but nobody runs out of something to give and something to tell somebody. So it's a training organization, and we're always proud of that. We're not just a networking organization.
So tell me what the difference between networking organization is and a training organization.
Well, in being involved in MLMs, multi-level marketing, sometimes when you approach somebody, you think that it's an opportunity for them, they go running, right? Because they think that you're going to break out the napkin and start drawing circles and all that other stuff. And it's almost the same thing with networking. People think it's a dirty word because they've been involved in other organizations where they're forced to do this and you have to do this. And so Master Networks is an organization where we want business partners and not prisoners. And so we want you to feel comfortable in every meeting that we have, whether it's virtual or in person. We're not going to lock the doors. It's not a timeshare. We're not going to force you to drink the Kool-Aid. We want to pour value into you is what we want to do. And in order to do that, we have to bond. And that's what we use is a bond method to where we get to know each other first. We lead with relationships. And then in our mission statement, we have what we call beyond the business. We like to go exactly that, beyond the business. And you'll find, as you experience things, that our members are going to reach out to you if you're not there for some reason, because they want to know that you're okay. They want to connect. They want to make sure that you're okay. And if you're going through something, it might not be business related. It may be anything. I mean, in this era, there's a lot of depression going on. There's a lot of divorces happening. People are worried about homeschooling and the multi-jobs of having to stay at home and work at home. I'm a barber, for goodness sake. My kids can't be seen for a long time because I'm not a very good one. So, people will solve those problems for you without the return on investment, without recording everything in some database somewhere for bragging rights. The return on investment that we provide, yes, of course, it's business. And yes, of course, we're going to do that. But the return on investment that's really rewarding is the kind that you can't record and you can't put down on paper.
So before Master Networks, were you involved in a lot of networking meetings?
So I'll tell you a quick story. There was an organization, and what we do in Master Networks talk about how great it is to be involved in the overall experience. I won't talk about another competing whoever, which I don't think we compete with, but there was another organization that I was invited to sub. And we have subs in Master Networks. It's no big deal. This is a common practice. And I agreed to go for a friend of mine that I actually went to high school with. He was an insurance agent. And the meeting was on a Wednesday morning. He asked me to go on a Thursday. He said, hey, you have to sub for me. Do me a favor. Sure. So I subbed for him. But between that Thursday that he asked me and I agreed to it, and the Wednesday, I think he called me 9 times. And, are you going to be there? You make sure, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. Why are you calling me? And like, hey, are you on your way? And I'm like, are these people going to shoot you? by firing squad or something? They're going to hang you out back? Or, I mean, what's the deal? I'm going to be there. And so he's like, oh, thank goodness you're on your way. And I'm like, I don't know what the big deal is. But as soon as I got there, there was a young lady. She was crying in the car next to me. And I ignored it. I was just like, I guess it's my business that kind of makes me feel some sort of way. I was sad about it. But when I went in, she showed up not too long and sat next to me. And when she sat next to me, she wasn't still crying, but she, eyes were puffy, and it's evident that she was upset. And so then, I just kind of asked her, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And she kind of teared up a little bit and said, hey, do you want to step outside? Because this could be embarrassing for both of us, because I didn't know why she was crying. I didn't know who she was. So we stepped outside, and she explained to me that she was involved in this organization. And she was new to town, so she didn't know many people to pass referrals, as she was mandated to do. And I said, well, have you received any referrals? She says, yeah, I did, but the money that I made off of that, I spent on the people around the room trying to keep up with the referrals that I have to pass. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, this is horrible. Why does anybody want to be involved in something like this? And I'm like, so what are the consequences? She says, they'll just kick me out, And I'm like, why? What? And so I just never got on board with any sort of organization because of that one experience, which is probably a great mistake. But for some reason, I was invited to a Master Networks a meeting, and it was a compelling invite, and I showed up. And when I showed up, it was a different feel. The energy in the room was fantastic. People were asking about each other's children. And little Johnny played a soccer game last Saturday. They won the championship. And I was like, okay. First thing I thought was, these people really know each other. I'm in the wrong room because I don't know anybody in here. How do I get to know people like they do? But then I quickly figured out that that's what the meeting was all about. And then we talked about business, and it was a healthy conversation. And I learned things that I could immediately implement when I left the room. And I said, this is something different. So, I'm an innovator. So I immediately decided I wanted to build my own chapter with my own people. So that's what I did. And, then the day came where I was approached to become the regional partner. And this was an opportunity like no other for me. Mm-hmm. So I thought about it for about 30 seconds and decided, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly where my heart is. So it was a no-brainer. And so I'm proud to say that a lot of our members have that same experience, that same culture is still there, and that's why a lot of people join today.
Yeah, I was introduced to you about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and it's just transformed my connections, not just in Central Texas, but throughout the country. It's been absolutely amazing, the connection that you want other business owners to be better versions of themselves, so that training aspect that y'all offer is just outstanding. Talk a little bit about the training that they get with Master Networks.
Yeah, so the training is really exciting. It is on a national platform. So you mentioned there's different regions throughout the nation. This is not just a localized, which makes it even more powerful, right? You go to meetings right now on Zoom in New York and in Delaware and, in Georgia. And, the experience is that we're on the same curriculum. We're on the same training curriculum. Now, there's different people, so you get something different out of every meeting. But every week, everyone's on the same curriculum. Now, the curriculum was written by the dean of our university. His name is Dave Jinks. And if you never heard of Dave Jinks, he was involved in the coming up of a little company called Keller Williams, right? And he was involved in that, and I believe he still is to a high extent. But he and Gary Keller worked very well together in the training of well over 150,000 real estate agents. And that training is still there available for them. And that type of training is in Master Networks and in our back office. We're not selfish with it. So if you're a member, you get the right to share that training with maybe a team within your office complex, or maybe a mastermind team that you're building, or something of the sort. So we're not selfish with that training. If you're a member, you have the rights to all of that to discuss with people that may eventually become Master Networks members and build a chapter across the nation. So The training is we're very proud of. It creates a lot of healthy, high energy conversations during our meetings.
Yeah, I've got to fill in for Max a couple of times, and it is just absolutely amazing the things that you learn. I also follow Master Networks on Facebook because you recommended it, YouTube, like they're on every different form of social media. I don't know if they do TikTok yet. Do they do TikTok?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the CEO's cup of tea. But they do some funny videos every once in a while and some dancing and so on. So I don't know. It may not be out of the question.
Yeah, they're on Insta too, and like it's amazing. Like even people that aren't members of Master Networks can utilize some of that training from their forms of social media.
Yeah.
It blows me away. It's like you guys just give it away because you want people to be better.
Yeah, there is even, I mean, you don't have to be a Master Networks member, but there is a coaching program. It's called Mastery Coaching. And it's taught by several folks throughout the nation that Chaz, the CEO, Chaz Wilson, the CEO, has identified as the people of close influence. And so it's a monthly cost associated with that, but you don't have to be in a Master Networks affiliated chapter in order to take advantage of the coaching that's available there once a week. It's immediately, again, is education that you can immediately implement in your business and get to the next level. And we are in 26, I might have gotten that wrong, different states, different regions. So we're not all over just yet, but if you're in an area that's underdeveloped, we're looking to hear from you so we can develop that area and have leaders in that area. But the coaching is available nationwide.
Wow, that is just amazing. So you've been in it for a while. How many years have you been with Master Networks?
Master Networks is about 9 years old, so we're going on our 10th year next year. The convention is going to be an anniversary. I personally have been in for about 3.5 years, so it's been like no other. I've been in business for over 15 years. I escaped from the job life, the W-2, the journey of the broke is what I like to call it. So I have escaped that, but in that time, I had never been involved in an organized networking organization. And then when I found this, it was the right fit. It was no question the right fit.
What is one tip that you learned from Master Networks that transformed your business?
To dig into others. And I can't say that even enough. I can't, the thing is really ironically for me, when I went to one of my first meetings, there was a young lady that I met. Her name's Jennifer Van. I remember her name. She's still affiliated and still checks in and asks about me, and so I keep up with her. She reached out and got me 12 referrals in one of my first meetings. And when you receive 12 referrals and you're looking for maybe one by chance, but you receive 12, then obviously I was trying to find, and still am, trying to find ways to pay her back for that. That changed everything. So how do I pay that back? And then I found out that, I gave someone a referral that was amazing. I didn't know it was amazing, but they thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And so they had been trying to pay me back. And then, I'm like, well, I'm going to pay that forward. And so now it's just, I get excited when people show up as a visitor in the chapters and they come along and they say, well, this is what I do. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what I've been looking for. I've been looking for that type person. And I know that person's been looking for that and that person. And the advantage of being an original partner, I call it an advantage, it's kind of frustrating because not everybody is in every chapter I'm in. And, or every regional chapter. So I'll go to a meeting in the Dallas area. I'll go to a meeting in Marietta, Georgia. I'll go to a meeting in Fort Myers, Florida. And then I have met someone that needs to know somebody back in Texas. And so how do I communicate to these people? They really need to know each other because I think they're good strategic partners. That's the difficult part for me because I'll meet somebody and, oh my God, you got to meet Christy. Oh my goodness. You went to the meeting in New York and somebody says, hey, I need to talk to you about your business model. I think we can expand it. We can do that. That's unexpected.
Yeah.
So I love it when those unexpected things happen.
Yeah, you introduced me to somebody yesterday, because what David tells me to do, I try to do because he hasn't steered me wrong yet. He's like, you guys need to be on this call. And I'm like, I'm ready to pack Dave. Like, it's a good thing I don't talk to David because he'd be like, shut up, Christy. And I'm like, but David said I needed to be on it. So I went on this call. I thought it was for LinkedIn. It ended up being YouTube. I just got off the call with the guy, Roger Wakefield. Did I get his name right?
Yeah, Roger and Julie Wakefield. They're my business partners in the Houston area of the Master Network.
He has the largest plumbing YouTube channel on YouTube. Like, and he took an hour at his time, and I'm totally waiting. I told David, I was like, I was waiting for him to sell me something. I was waiting for it. It was going to be $5,000 for his phone call or something. And he's like, no, Christy, go read this book because I want to grow my YouTube following. Christy, read this book. I'm going to send you this, do this, and do this, and then call me back. What? You're just helping me, Roger? Like, what? How much money do you want? Like, where do I send the check? Because I'm totally believing and that's what I have to be because I've been sold to for so long. And he's like, no, I'm not going to sell you anything. I just want to help you.
It comes to be an expectation, and a lot of these organizations that we're involved in, networking, especially, that's where the dirty word comes in, is because you're waiting to be sold. You're waiting for someone to throw up their business on you. And you having to reach into your pocket, how deep are your pockets? That's what I'm here to find that out. And that is a perfect situation. And Roger and Julie Wakefield are awesome. Everybody's just subscribed to their YouTube channels anyway. But he's so giving with that. He's got well over 50,000 and counting. He couldn't even keep up with the numbers on the presentation of people that are following him on social media. And that's only one or two different arenas. I mean, he didn't include some of the others. So and you would think, man, it took him a good while. No, it took him 2 years. So that's somebody that you need to learn from, And so that's why I was excited that you were on that call. And I said it to several other people because I'm like, your minds are going to be blown. I need you to be there. I don't recommend things lightly like that. But when I know that there is, listen, it's going to be extreme value. You need to know these people, So I was happy to see you on the call, probably just as much as you're happy to be there.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Like, whatever it is, like, David always adds value. I've never met anybody quite like him. He's never asked me for anything, which really surprises me because most people are, like, trying to sell, right? They want to make their money, too. But, I mean, David just continues to add value. So when David goes, hey, Christy, will you, or not even to me, he says it to a blanket group of people, and he says, hey, you guys go follow my new business. Okay, where can I leave a review? Who can I recommend it to? Can I put stuff on there to add value to David? Because he piles it and piles it on. I don't know if this guy sleeps at night. He's like, how can I add more value to more people? What am I going to do tomorrow to make the world a better place? I don't know if David's that way, but that's what I'm getting from it. Every day, and I talk to you probably 4 or 5 times a week now.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely amazing. I just listened to David, and I don't know if he knows this, but I'm like, whatever David says what to do, Christy's going to do it. I don't want to disappoint David because you add so much value, and it's not a dollar amount, right? It's nothing that I can really put that to. What it is it's added value to my life. It makes me a better person. You introduced me to Dr. Cole, who then taught me this, and this, and you introduced me to Heather, who fixes all my aches and pains. You introduced me to Chris, who got me to thinking, okay, what kind of businesses do I want to buy in the future? And so on and so forth. And then Roger and Gary LaRue, those are the ones those are going to pay me back millions of dollars in the future. I can't even put a price tag on that.
Yeah, see, that's our circle, right? I mean, that's the Master Network circle, and it's huge. I mean, the whole experience is beyond explanation, and this is the thing. during, especially this time with COVID and people struggling, there's large businesses going out of business. Yeah, there's a lot of struggles that are going on. People are filing bankruptcy. People are struggling to pay their rent. So people are relying on maybe what used to be their side hustle to pay the bills now. So there's a lot going on. In a perfect economy, 8 out of 10 businesses are going to fail anyway within a given amount of time. It's just not one of those. So if you have the perfect secret sauce, shout it from the rooftops. If you have the solution to someone's issue, then it's like we're being selfish, keeping it in this box locked up. But we only reward ourselves with bringing out this is my super secret sauce, and bringing it out and communicating and inviting other people in that need this. I mean, you're honoring them. Yeah. Why keep it a secret? You're rewarding the people that are already involved, because we all need more eyes. We all need more support, and we all need more exposure in our businesses right now. Otherwise, we're going to be a statistic.
Yeah.
So how do we keep people, thriving, keep food on the table for their children, keep the resources there? It's already tough for an entrepreneur because, I mentioned I'm homeschooling, I'm doing it. I mean, it's already tough. But what makes it easier is when I get organic referrals coming in that I didn't have to pay for, and that I pretty much have already earned by word of mouth by someone that's recommended all of us. That right there is the secret sauce. Free is my price. So if I get free referrals that I don't have to compete in my industry for, you might as well put a gold bar on my front porch. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then most entrepreneurs get into business because they're skilled producers, right? They can bake the cupcakes, they can fix the sink, they can do the massage, they can do what their skill set is. And that's a part that a lot of entrepreneurs are missing, and that we talk about a lot on the Sometimes Spouse podcast, because we train business every week too. And they know that they have this amazing product, they have this amazing service, but they don't know how to get it out there. And the beautiful thing about Master Networks is it trains them. It talks about things like this week's training tidbit was like, who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? We watch our kids, right? Who they hang out with. Yeah. We don't want them running around with drug dealers and prostitutes. So we watch what they do. Why don't we watch what we do? And most people don't think about that. They take their business advice or they take their business knowledge from somebody that has been living paycheck to paycheck, going from, broke to broke, like you said earlier, and they don't really get any business knowledge. They don't even know where to go. I remember when I started as an entrepreneur, I'm like, where do I go to get my LLC? Who do I find that takes care of my taxes? Who do I find that takes care of my finances? I didn't know anyone, so I had my best friend do it. And she tanked at 5 or 6 years later, right? And so Max and I are still paying the price, digging our way out of that hole. If I would have had Master Networks in the beginning, I could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars and 7 years worth of worry, because I would have went to David and went, David, I don't know anything about taxes. Who do I need to talk to about taxes? Mm-hmm. And David would have said, I don't know anything about taxes, but go talk to such and such.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I practice, working on the business versus in the business all the time. Mm-hmm. And because if I worked in the business all the time, I'm going to mess it up. I mean, it's just a natural thing. I can't be an expert of everything. There's accounting that has to happen. There are proper filing taxes. Everybody knows I'll mess that up left and right. So I figure out where my weaknesses are, and I put those people around me. And now I'm a master connector, if you would, where people come and I get it every day. Do you know somebody that does this? Do you know somebody that does this? And yes, I'm going to know somebody, even if they're in Chicago. I'm going to look it up on the database, and I'm going to know somebody, okay? And, that person's going to be just automatically vetted, and there you go. I'm the resource. And as long as I'm the resource, first of all, I can be proud of that, but people will come to me for everything, and my business will get that much exposure as well. So I mean, it's an awesome thing to be able to connect people with who they need, because you cannot be, don't try to be the expert at everything, you know. And I mean, there's so much that's automated too. You know, you can file your taxes. You can now get insurance quotes that are automated. You can now, I mean, there's a lot of things that are automated, thumbtack, home advisory. But the thing is those people on there, who are they? Can you trust them? What are they made of? So when I give you an insurance agent, that insurance agent is going to treat you very well because they're coming as a referral of mine. And they're trying to show you the utmost respect and the highest integrity. Then guess what? When something changes, they see you in the grocery store and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I noticed you bought a new car. Or you tell them, hey, so, me and my husband, we're pregnant again. I know you probably don't want to hear that as Christy, but the thing about it is there's a relationship there. So that app, that computer is not going to say, hey, Christy, you having a kid, we need to up your insurance. Have you thought about health insurance? Have you thought about life insurance? Have you thought about, but that person that has a relationship with you is going to see that happening. And even though you don't think about it, they're going to think about it for you. And they're going to say, hey, you've had some life changes. Maybe we might need to look at looking at your portfolio. And there's other businesses that are exactly like that. Commercial properties right now, people are working from home. What do they do with the empty spot? Can they sublet it? Can they get out of their lease? Can they adjust it? So we have commercial real estate agents that will come and say, hey, Christy, I noticed you haven't been in your office. I'll come by. You haven't been in your office in decades. You're leaving money on the table. Maybe we should rent that out to make it a small business mecca for people that can't work at home right now because their kids are driving them nuts because the schools haven't opened. There's a lot going on that we can all be of service to each other with. And that's what we're all about, really.
And it makes you look like a hero.
I love being a hero. I love looking like the smartest person in the room. I'm never the smartest person in the room. But sometimes that is an impression, and I'll take it where I can get it.
That is amazing. So I want to ask you like a huge question that probably is on everyone's minds. This is a networking in-person meeting. How did you guys change that with COVID?
So we're relationships. So we're going to adjust to any situation, whatever it may be. So we were all meeting in person, and it's always been great meeting in person because we'll see each other before the meeting starts. We start on time, end on time, 1 hour, higher energy, but we always end up breaking bread. So whoever eats together, plays together, stays together. And so that personal aspect of being right in front of each other, we've missed. We've done that, and that's been the core of everything. We miss hugging each other and all that other stuff. So we'll get back to that. But we pivoted to an online platform, much like this one, to where we can all still have our meetings online, no matter where we're at. This saved me a lot of fuel. Some people may or may not be wearing pants. We don't disclose that on the calls. But it's awesome to go from meeting to meeting, from state to state. Yesterday I was in 2 meetings in New York and was able to tell everybody about my business. And then 30 minutes later, I was back in Texas. How does that happen? Until Elon Musk can make that happen for us all, we have to go to the Zoom platform. So the thing is there's an advantage of being on the Zoom platform because now I have a lot of family, friends in New York and Georgia and then North Dakota and Minnesota, where Master Networks was born out of. So that I otherwise wouldn't have had. We have fun. We have happy hours and different masterminds. Outside of that, it's not all business. It's not all strictly business and rigid like that. We like to have fun, but we're also going to keep a virtual chapter of sort. So as a result of this, we've learned something. We can expand our relationships throughout the nation in a stronger way. So we're going to keep a part of that platform, but a little later, we're looking into going physical meetings as early as next week. But the virtual meetings will remain for some of those that want. They're like, aha, this is what I've been looking for. And some people are not comfortable going out in public like they used to just yet. So we adjust.
Yeah, it's been beautiful to see it pivot. And it's also beautiful in those meetings to still have those connections with people. I've never met you. Yeah, no, I have once. Once. I'm like, wait, once. We did talk once, maybe twice. But there's some of them in those meetings I've never met that I still have a connection with. Tina in New York.
Yes, she's wonderful.
Connected with her. Gary LaRue, never met him.
Mm-hmm. He's tall. He's very tall, by the way.
Really?
Yes, you wouldn't know because we all look the same height, in the Hollywood Squares situation here. But yeah, Gary's tall. And, it's like talking to the great giant sometimes. He's way up there.
When I met you, it was like, hey, David. Hi, David. It wasn't a long conversation. Like, we've developed our relationship professionally over Zoom.
Yeah, over Zoom. So there's lots of people like that nationally, right? So I'm going to be traveling to another region in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Fargo, mainly because it's 110 degrees in Texas and I want to experience something else. But I'll see some of those members there, and some of them I have not met. And so it's wonderful that I've seen them on Zoom, and now I'm going to be like, you're shorter than what I thought you might be, So I'll be able to meet them. And that's the exciting part, because it's very strange developing a relationship over Zoom and then meeting that person. And it's like, wow, I can't believe you're right in front of me. And so that's going to be really exciting to do. And likely the next convention for it's called Connect in 2021, because we had to cancel it this year. It's going to be our 10-year anniversary. It's going to be huge. I believe it's scheduled for April, the latter part of April, around the CEO's birthday. But it just ironically happens. He plans it. It's his fault. So but we do celebrate his birthday. But a lot of people are going to celebrate meeting each other for the first time and have been talking for over a year on Zoom. That's going to be the really cool thing right there. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see you in person and break bread with you and actually deepen the relationship that we formed over Zoom.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing what happens from that. And the ones that I have never met that are on the virtual chapters and stuff like that, it is gonna be so exciting. It's gonna be like a family reunion.
Yeah, it really is. And even for the people that have met each other, have been networking for a long time, it's like, man, it's good to just see you again. So
just a little bit longer than they were.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll cover. You did say that the name of the convention was Connect. What an appropriate name, because Master Networks is really all about connections and relationships. So that has been appropriately named.
Oh yeah, I can't take any credit there, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. Now, I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you're a busy guy. You run your business and do many other things. How can people connect with you, David?
Sure. So the website is on I think it's right. I spelled it correctly. MasterNetworksTXC.com. Anybody that needs information about membership, they can email admin, ADMIN, at MasterNetworksTXC.com. You can always go to the website. You go to the website and look and see what events are going on. We're always doing something rather special every once in a while, but the chapters are listed there. And just see a day and time that's convenient for you, Central Standard Time, if you're watching this elsewhere, and click on the link and join us into the chapters. And we'll be more than happy to explain how to join us. It's not, like I said, it's not a hostage situation of any kind. It's not anything that's going to really break the bank. But we want you to visit a few times and understand what we have to offer and what we like to do for people. So definitely get in contact with me, and I'll be more than happy to have a conversation.
That is awesome. Now, before I end my interviews, I always like to ask a fun question of the person I'm interviewing. So, David, if you were stranded on a desert island and all of your human needs were met, what would be the 2 luxury items you would take on the desert island, and why?
Luxury items. I take my car. I'm a car guy. All right, so I gotta be in control and drive fast and do all those things that are probably against the law in most states. But yeah, I would take my car. I enjoy my luxurious car. So I've earned it, so I'm going to drive it. So wherever I go, it's going to go with me. So yeah, that would definitely be that. Second, I don't know if we're talking luxury. I would have to have a very nice habitat. If I'm going to be stranded on that island, luxurious house, and that I'm kind of cheating too because. I mean, when I say luxury, I want the hot tub. I want everything that has to do with luxury, you know. And you know, if there's not a masseuse there, I need to have some kind of luxurious machine to. I might have to have a luxurious machine that makes cocktails for you. Have you seen those in Vegas? They're real back. Yeah, that's what I might need too. So. Yeah, there you go. That all comes with the house. So that's all in that one thing, right? So the car and then the house with everything else in it that I mentioned.
That is awesome. What kind of car do you have to?
I have a Tesla. Yeah, I have a Tesla.
Ooh, are you getting the truck?
No.
No.
I've been told. I've been so advised that the truck is not going to happen.
No, well, they made their money though. But well, David, thank you so much for being on Ask an Expert, a Sometimes Spouse podcast. It has been a joy.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, David. You guys have a great weekend, and thank you for joining us for the Sometimes Spouse podcast and Ask an Expert with David Boswell, regional partner of Master Networks Central Texas.